Thanksgiving meal fans. For me, I love it. It's one of my favorites of the year. I've got a helper here. We just dropped a whisk on the foot, and that's okay. So we got a fan favorite, this amazing dish that we love, and the Millers have actually taken Thanksgiving and we have overhauled it. It has become a new thing for us, and it's not new to my wife's family, but it was new to me as part of the family. And so today what we're going to do, we're going to look at some of the basics of what we do for our Thanksgiving gumbo. Is anybody else excited for that? I'm fired up. I'm looking forward to a Thanksgiving gumbo. This is amazing. And especially today, we're here in South Padre Island, down right off the coast of Mexico, basically. And so we're down south, right on the coast. We can hear the ocean at night when we're sleeping. And so I am so looking forward to getting some fresh Gulf shrimp in the gumbo that we're going to eat, and it's going to be delicious. Do me a favor, please, Mr. Assistant. I need the charging cord for my computer. So you know how you wait for weeks for a phone call, and then right when you're in the middle of doing something, it should be in your bedroom, buddy. Right when you're in the middle of doing something that's on a time deadline, what happens? That phone call you've been waiting for 3 weeks happens. That's what just happened to me. So I'm behind getting this stuff ready right now, but it's not going to stop the magic right now. So let me update you what's going on here. Okay, so we have a gumbo, and the list of ingredients for our gumbo is really simple and basic. It is not rocket science, but the keys to it are going to be, there are a couple keys to it. One is figuring out the ingredients that you're going to have. It's simple ingredients. The other one is going to be making sure that you put a little love into it. Put a little love in it. That's really it. So we're going to look today at the ingredients that we're using, why we're choosing some things versus others, and then we're going to talk today about something we call the roux. The who? The roux, which if you're a French person or a French Canadian, or if you are what we call a French Cajun, then you know what the roux is. Roux is the base that you start with. It is the foundation of any good gumbo. And then we don't have any filet, which is a disappointment to me right now, but we don't have any filet. But this is another thing that I would highly suggest you having on hand when you get ready to put together your gumbo. So, Noah, are you ready? All right, so let's get cracking. First off, gumbo, when you serve a gumbo, you're starting with the roux. The roux who? The roux. The roux is the French. What does the word roux mean in French?
I have no clue.
It means I have no clue. I don't think that's right. Roux? What is it? What color does roux sound like? Roux.
Red.
Sounds like red.
Yeah.
Red.
Yeah.
There's a reason they call it roux. It's because it is the color brown when you cook it. Just kidding. It's red. So it can kind of be a little brownish, reddish brown color that you're going to look at. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at building a roux. First, though, come with me, and we're going to flip over our stock, and we're going to change it up so that we can start to make our roux. So for the stock, we've just thrown together a basic shrimp stock, and we did that by putting in 24 ounces of a bone broth, and then Noah added 4 cups of filtered water on top of that, and then we've thrown in celery and onion, and then the rest of the shrimp, right? So you know how sausage or hot dogs is the rest of the cow, right? So we put in the rest of the shrimp. So the tails and heads, cut them off, and we even threw in the shells, just threw all of it in the water, in the stock, boiling it, and then we're going to let it cook for a little while and then simmer down. But we have not had time to let it simmer the way we want to, but we're going to take it to the next step right now so that we can start to build the roux. So come with me, join me while we transfer over our stock and get rid of all the chunkies in it so that we can start to build the roux. So right back here. So you see, oh yeah. I forgot Noah also threw in some lemon, but check this out. Dude, this is amazing looking. I want to tilt it further, but it's so precarious. But look at that. Oh. Jealous? Figured you would be. Sorry. I do that to people a lot. So we have lemon, we have some Old Bay seasoning, salt, some other seasonings that we threw in here, but primarily we've got the onion, celery, the Trinity, the green bell pepper, lemon, shrimp parts, and then we used a chicken broth because we're going to do a chicken and seafood gumbo. And so now we're going to pour it through a strainer to get rid of all the chunkies. Okay. We're going to need to rinse this just a little bit. Oh, I can't rinse it just a little bit. I'll cover it up. Grab a little towel. I'm going to wipe this out.
Your blend is hot.
Yeah, super hot. Okay, so we've cleared it out. Now, I'm going to lower the heat to a lower number here. And we have the 2 ingredients that we're going to use for our roux. Who can tell me, what are the 2 ingredients for roux? Anybody know? Butter, right? So butter is the first ingredient. What's the second ingredient? Just speak it out. You don't have to raise your hand. Flour. That's right. So butter, flour for the roux. Butter and flour for the roux. Okay. So I don't know. It didn't look like that posted. Maybe not. We'll see. So butter and flour for the roux. So you start off with the butter. Obviously, we're going to use a stick because now, do you know when you would use 1 full stick instead of a half stick? Anybody know? You would use a full stick of butter when you have it. Why would you use half a stick when you can do a full? So we're going to throw that in there, and it's going to start to melt. And then what we're going to do is we're going to gradually whisk in the flour. Gradually whisk in the flour. So butter and flour. So we're going to start that with. And we're going to let the butter melt. And I know what you're thinking. Let's get something straight here. You're thinking, you've always thought that gumbo was something that you could only get at that really fancy restaurant that you went to. You know what I'm talking about, right? Did you just get a little Pavlov moment there too? Right when I said it and I started to think about eating it at that restaurant, the delicious scoops of gumbo with the rice and the little Tabasco, little hot sauce on it. It just, my mouth started to water. Maybe that's just me. So we're going to start off, and I'm just melting this butter. So we're going to melt a pound of butter in there. Not a pound, a stick of butter. It's pretty close to a pound. And we're going to melt that in there.
Can I drink it?
Yeah, you got to fight me for it.
Eat!
Don't fight me, please. Come on, just get along. It's just a roux. It's a butter. Okay, and then we're going to gradually start to add the flour in and stir that up. And when it starts to congeal and come to better shape, I'm gonna bring it up and show it to you. But I need to keep it on the heat until then, okay? And then while we do that, Noah is actually going to come over, and he is going to look at our recipe and make sure that we're on track with the recipe. So after the roux starts to come together, it's too brown.
Yeah.
After this, we just add veggies, right, Noah?
Yes.
Okay. So all I do is... Go ahead.
Yeah.
Just add the veggies in?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It should be the color of walnuts when we're done with this.
Okay.
And smell like it too.
Should be the color of and smell like walnuts. So tell the people.
Should smell and look like walnuts.
Well, it's not going to look like a walnut. It's going to look the color of a walnut, right? So it's going to be kind of like a brownish color when it's all ready to go. And so it's starting to come together nicely. So just a gradual addition. So we're adding all the flour in, and then we're just going to let it cook down. is basically all we're going to do. And it's a thickening agent. It's going to help our gumbo have a nice thickness to it. Oh. All right. So now we're going down nicely. You know, there were a few years ago that we made this, and I actually posted it, and I was really impressed with the way it looked. It looked amazing, and I was shocked at the way it looked. It looked amazing. I couldn't believe it. And it was one of those that immediately I thought to myself, you know, these are concepts that seem really hard when you're looking at them and thinking about a restaurant doing it. But then when you sit down and start to do it, it's not terribly difficult. Like, it's not terribly hard. It is work. You got to put some love and detail and attention into it. But it's actually a fairly simple process. So right now that I've got this nice little boil going on of the butter and the flour together, and it's starting to congeal a little bit and thickening up, and it's going to be 5 to 7 minutes is what it recommends for you before you get to that nice walnutty look. And what we used, so we used, when we talk about ingredients, the Miller family always talks about ingredients being you want to do that? You want to take over? Okay, you got to get the edges and the whole deal, right? Edges, middle, edges, middle, edges, middle, edges, middle. Good. So we're testing Noah right now. So the Millers always talk about ingredients and cooking in terms of good, better, and best. So you see the stock there. And there's the roux. He's working it out. So the roux, Amy said, is the trickiest part of the dish. The rest is easy peasy. So the roux, you really can't walk away from the roux because it'll ruin pretty quickly. So I always thought of gumbo as being one of those dishes that was just like restaurant people could do it, but not humans like us. And then I thought, well, maybe you just need all the fancy equipment in the really fancy kitchen and the really neat place to. Listen, I'm doing this in an RV kitchen. Okay, do you understand? I'm doing this in an RV kitchen. It's just not that terribly difficult. So Noah's stirring it up, and what's going to happen is that the yellow with the butter and the flour together is going to start to congeal, and it's coming together, and it's creating a thickening agent is what it is. And the roux is going to set the rest of the recipe off in the right way. So it's going to set off the rest of the recipe in the right way, and it's going to give you, just lost, oh man, I just lost my recipe. So I was going to start to check you guys, help you guys see what was going on. So, so the roux sets the foundation for everything. It congeals it, and it gives it a nutty, like a nice, flavorful. It brings in a lot of flavor to it. So you talk about cooking, you talk about umami, right? And umami, that umami is what your salts add to it, and the roux is going to be an umami that just brings flavor and burst of life into the gumbo that you're cooking. And so we're putting together this roux, stirring it all up, and it's going to bring us to, hopefully, to a nice red color here, and it's going to bring a lot of flavor into the recipe that we're making. Should be amazing, and it should be getting there pretty quick, pretty soon.
Starting to smell like walnut.
Yeah, so it's starting to brown up a little bit. It's kind of hard to see, but the lighting here is not the best. It looks like
You wanted the color of a penny.
kind of pasty white egg yolks on the camera. Ah, okay. So the way Amy's dad describes it, she says he's passing along information to us right now that you want it. You got to stay on it, buddy. You got to stay on it. You want it to end up being the color of a penny, right? So it's going to be kind of a darker brown. That just takes a little time. We don't have the best tools for making it. People suggest doing it like in a Dutch oven or something like that. We don't have that. But the pans that we have are good. They're not ideal for this cooking situation. And I've cooked a gumbo in pans similar to this before, and it turned out amazing. So let's talk about this. Let's go through the ingredients list real quick.
Smells like a walnut.
Starting to smell walnutty for sure.
Oh yeah,
So,
the color is changing a lot.
yeah, so you see it's getting browner, and it's just going to keep getting darker and darker. Make sure to keep those edges too, but pull those edges in. So Noah's doing a great job of stirring. So pause for just a second. I'm going to open a window.
Yes, we have a fire alarm that is very sensitive.
That's right. We do.
Oh yeah, Dad, the color.
Okay, so it's now starting to get a nice nutty color to it also. So what we're going to do then, after the roux has become, it's getting a little better, we're going to start to add our the ingredients. Okay, remember I said the trinity, which is celery, onion, and green bell pepper. Now, some people would say, does it have to be the green bell pepper? It doesn't have to be. The other bell peppers are going to add a sweetness to it that would be a little bit different. And so I would say kind of a traditionalist approach would be to say that you're just going to add the green bell pepper, you're not going to add the different colors, because it's more of a traditional approach. But that's up to you. You decide what you're going to do there, and then do your own thing. Now, I'll tell you in a little bit, I'm going to tell you a wild card that some friends of ours said they swear by. They said, once you've had it this way, you'll never do it the other way again. I'm on the fence about it. I'm not sure what I think about it, honestly, but I'll share it with you in a little bit, and then you can vote and tell me what you think, if that's the way to go or not, if you've had it like that. So the trinity, first ingredient list is the trinity. It's the set of the celery, onion, and green bell peppers. But then on top of that, we're going to add in bay leaf. We're going to add thyme, Old Bay seasoning. Oh, it's starting to come together nicely. Oh, I'm not going to show you yet. We're going to let it get a little further. Old Bay seasoning. And then yellow onion, celery stalk, green bell pepper, garlic cloves. We're going to pull some garlic here in just a second also. And then okra. Now, I am not an okra fan, but my wife loves okra, and most people would agree, and I don't disagree with this, that gumbo needs to have okra in it. Unfortunately, what?
The key for no slimy okra is the tomato.
Oh.
The acidity of the tomato will make the okra not slimy.
So there we are. So the key, Amy says, to keeping the okra from being slimy when you eat it is the tomatoes. The acidity of the tomato will make it so that the okra does not have that slimy texture to it. It's supposed to draw it out of there. Is it getting close to Penny? It's getting closer to Penny. So we're kind of excited. So what we're going to do then in just a minute is we're going to start to add in the other ingredients and allow it to cook up. Now, we don't have them all ready to go right now, but we're working that way. So we're working on a sausage that we've got, and we are going to use today a spicy andouille sausage. We're going to add in a pound of Gulf shrimp that was pulled off of the boat the morning we bought it. And then we have different recipes that add different things, like crawfish, grouper, you name it. Pretty much anything except the kitchen sink would go inside of there. But we're going to start with the basics. The thyme, bay leaves, gumbo filet, and then our stock, right, that we just finished working on a little bit ago.
Okay, it's done.
Is it Penny?
Oh yeah.
Dude, it's getting there, buddy. I would say we want it just a little longer. Keep working those edges, right? You want to trade? Or you get exhausted? No? Good? Okay. Hard-working boy. Meantime, let me show you just a little better look at the, ooh, that's hot. Ooh, that's hot. When you're cooking Cajun food, you have to talk like that. But so here's all the stuff that was inside of the stock. Let's see if I can get this without dripping all over the computer. So all the stuff that was in the stock, you got your lemon, your celery, your onion, your green bell pepper, and then there's the little parts of the shrimp that we threw in there to make it. And it smells pretty amazing. We had some Old Bay seasoning that we threw in there. So it is on point. It's good stuff. Also recommend throwing in the your salt and those kinds of ingredients. And then everybody's going to talk about the importance of your hot sauce. So let's look at hot sauce. So again, the Miller family, it's all about good, better, best, right? There are some things that we eat that are good There's some things that we eat that are better, and then there's some versions that are best. So with, for example, your vegetables, organic ingredients, organic non-GMO ingredients are going to be your best, right? You can do some things sorry?
Or your better, best can become wrong.
Yeah, so that's true. So Amy, just level up me. So best, honestly, is if you grow it in your own garden, right? You're the one that handles it from seed to your plate. Good is going to be an organic. Better is going to be a non-GMO, something that you know is grown locally, or some of the other things. And we always try to work up the scale, okay? There are some things that we might make allowances for, but those are the exception rather than the rule, right? We're always trying to work on the better and best, for sure. And so I'm going to show you this roux. Noah did a great job. Okay, ready? Oh, the smell is on fire. So here is the roux. This is what it looks like now. Remember when it was just that golden yellow? And now it's come down to this amazing red, that walnutty color. It's a penny in here, right?
Yeah, a large penny.
A big penny. It's like this big. And so now we start then to add the vegetables. So we've got the roux done, and we're going to start to add in the vegetables. Says onion, celery, bell pepper, garlic, and okra, seasoned with salt until the veggies are soft. Okay, so we're going to add these things. Oh, the bay leaf and the thyme. Okay, so here's our Trinity.
Trinity.
Smell is amazing.
Trinity.
Okay, so start stirring that up, Noah. Keep stirring. You can use a spoon or the whisk, whichever one. But keep stirring it up. Don't let it sit because it's going to burn it. So we got that, and then said to add a bay leaf. So let me see behind you here. We're going to add 2 bay leaves, which 2, and then thyme.
Oh, this is looking awesome.
Time, love, and tenderness. Oh. Sorry, you had to see that. So thyme, it says 1 tablespoon of thyme. So we'll get a tablespoon in here. And then I've got our smoked sausage over here. I haven't had a chance to cut it up because we just pulled it out of the freezer. Remember the phone call I told you about? So we pulled it out of the freezer. It has not been cooked yet, or hasn't been cut up yet, but we're going to be doing that here in just a minute. Okay. And then we're going to add some salt, some Old Bay, and we've added the thyme and the stock here just a little bit. It smells incredible, doesn't it? Okay, where's our salt? I'm gonna add in. Okay, so salt is rolling now, and then we're gonna let this cook up for a little bit before we get any of the other ingredients in. Now, if you'll notice, I'm constantly reading the recipe. I'm not an expert. Sorry. If you were coming in here hoping to see Rachel Ray, you're going to be sadly disappointed. But you are going to see somebody that should give you confidence that you can do this at home. That's part of my goal. So this is okay. So Amy, if you would grab out the tomatoes underneath you, we'll need 2 cans. And then Micah and Asher. Under my bed, at the very end, there's a long jar like this long of tomatoes stuff. Bring me that. Okay, so we're going to add in our tomatoes here. Oh, it's just 1 can. Now, typically, there's a brand of tomatoes that we like to use, a diced tomato that we typically like to use. You know, it may be under the bed, Amy, where he's getting the tomatoes, he's getting that big paste. It'll be right there. Heard that phone call? Yeah, sorry, it's been that kind of a day. So typically, we only like to use tomatoes that are jars of tomatoes because the ingredients in cans just not the best. It kind of affects the flavor potentially, and especially if you don't have one that's got a BPA-free liner, that could be issues. So what we would say is this for us garden is best. This is going to be better, right? This is an organic tomato puree that's going to be good. It's in a jar. It's in a nice safe container. This is going to be a better alternative than something that's going to be a can of tomatoes. Okay, how's that coming, buddy?
Great.
And then this is going to be a good. So see, this is a Moir Glen. I don't even know how to say that. Moor Glen organic. It's a petite diced tomato, and these are in a California tomatoes. They are an organic. This is also in a non-BPA lining, so this should be right here. Right here. Thank you. It's a non-BPA lining, so you shouldn't have the issues of BPA that you might have in some other things. But so on the scale of good, better, best, this is going to be a good. This is going to be a better, and then your homegrown is going to be the best, obviously, a homegrown organic version. So now Amy is cracking open the tomatoes for me. We're gonna dump this in here. Keep stirring that up. Okay, so we're gonna do 2 cans. 1 in, 1 to go, and then we're gonna add back our stock here in just a minute. We've got our seasonings in there. I'm gonna add in some Old Bay seasoning as well. I'm not gonna add the Old Bay. I'll just be adding that to mine. Here you go. Yeah.
It smells awesome.
All right, so far Noah approves of this for sure. Okay, I'm gonna add in the stock right now, what we've got. All right, Noah, I'm reaching around you here, bud. Starting to look amazing. Amazing. Okay, we're gonna throw in some garlic here. Should have thrown that in before, probably, but better late than never with the garlic. And then I'm going to start to cut up the sausage and throw that in there in just a little bit. But, oh, I didn't even tell you. Okay, so our friend, we were on a call with a friend the other day, and she said that the thing that makes your gumbo fly, that makes it incredible, potato salad in your gumbo. Have you heard of such? I mean, I think in the back of my mind when she said that, I had heard somebody say that before, but I immediately shoved it out of my brain as heresy, honestly. I don't know. So in my mind, potato salad, not. But I've never had it. I mean, just being honest, I've never had it that way before either. So I don't know what to say about it. I don't know what to say or think. I just don't know what to think about it. So I need your advice. I need your help in this one. So potato salad, is that something you're going to throw in there? Because if so, then we need to talk. I need to figure this out. But regardless, so I do want to recommend something that we use to cook all of our meals. Slight hyperbole, exaggeration for the point of emphasis. So we use an app called Plan to Eat, which we love. This is a great way to organize your meals, your plan. So we have, as you see, we've got different recipes that we've scheduled out for when we're going to do them. You see, our Thursday meal is going to be the rockin' gumbo, and then what you do is you just look at the list of ingredients and or the meals, and you can pull it up and say, okay, we're going to make. Now this is one that we've got in here. This is not actually what we're making right now, but it gives you your list of ingredients, and then you can actually even see where it walks you through the directions of making it. And all of this is organized in a really friendly, easy to get to manner. And so you can plan out your meals by organizing them this way. And then even, here's like the bonus level. Even when you go to the store, then you click the shop button, and what it does is it pulls in the ingredients list from all of the things that you've planned, puts them in your shopping list for you, and then organizes them by category. And so now when you go to the store, your ingredients list is there. Now, what I like to do then, before I go to the store, I pull the ingredients up. I hit the shop list, I pull up the list of ingredients, and then I go through and I say things like, almond butter right here is on the list. See almond butter on the list, but we've got that. So I just tap that and it says, you got it. Okay, you purchased that item. And so now it's not on the list anymore. And if I'm looking at the list and I say, pitted dates, wait, why in the world is pitted dates on there? You see the pencil? Then that's going to show me the recipe that it's a part of. And so I can look, this one was actually, we just added it to it. But if it were part of a recipe, let's say, well, so like the gumbo filet, okay, is on there. So if you don't have it and you're not sure why they want it, you just hit the gumbo filet and it'll tell you it's planned on the gumbo recipe. So it'll tell you what you're buying it for. So then you can also make adjustments. Well, we're not going to do that, or we're going to do that in 2 weeks. I don't know why that was on the list today. So it makes it, the shopping is really easy. It's easy to add things on the fly. So if I'm here in the shopping section and I just pull down and then I hit that blue button, and the blue button lets me add more items. You can measure them out. You can combine things together. It's really super handy. So we have used this as our go-to way to plan our meals out since we hit the road. It has made it incredibly easy. And so I've actually got, if you go to go.exploretheunseen.com/plan to eat, then we can get you 30 days free on the app, and it's an easy way for you to check out your recipes and to organize them. You can actually go, when you add the Chrome extension, you can go to a recipe on the internet and click on that Chrome extension, and it will automatically pull the recipe in. All the ingredients measured out. You can adjust the sizes and everything very simply. It's a fantastic way to go. So if you'd like notes, if you'd like the list of ingredients, if you would like the recipe, then what you can do right now is type in the word gumbo down below and let me know gumbo, G-U-M-B-O, and I will send you the notes on this video. I'll send you the ingredients list. I'll send you the recipe so that you can make all this at home on your own, and that you can have an amazing Thanksgiving meal. Not the same boring one that you've been having for so many years, but you can kick it up a notch. We're gonna do Thanksgiving. We're gonna do turkey at Christmas. So let's do something a little bit different and fun for Thanksgiving, and let's have a great Cajun meal that's delicious and it's simple. It's easy to do. All right. So I've kept you long enough. Listen, the smell in here is amazing right now. I wish you could be here. Where's the smell-o-vision when we need it? But anyways, so my wife is such a helper. I love it. I even have notes to do it right here, but she caught me and made sure. So in about a week and a half, we're going to do a travel safe workshop. And what that is it's going to be a way for you to plan how to travel somewhere and do it safely and efficiently. So saving money. How do you come up with a budget for where you're going to go? How do you come up with a budget for where you're going to go? How do you figure out how long you're going to drive in a day? How do you plan out your meals? We're going to talk about how to plan out the meals while you're there too. We're going to actually work through your vacation with you to make sure that you have all the details of what to do, even down to what do I do when I get a flat tire? Who do I call? You're not going to call Ghostbusters. Who are you going to call? You got to call somebody. Don't call me. I'm not going to come change your tire. But there are ways that you can set up, making sure that you are squared away for all the little details of things that you do. We have travel checklists. We have recipes, ways to set up your recipes to make it really simple to follow. So we're going to walk through that process with you and set you up to travel. If you are interested in doing that, then let me know in the comments below. I will make sure to send you information when all the details are finalized so that you can be a part of that workshop. I'll reach out to you and send you that information. So listen, it's going to be cool. It's going to be really fun. I'm so glad you joined me and stuck with me this long. And I hope that you have a great Thanksgiving. We're so grateful for you that you guys follow along on our adventures. And how about a round of applause for my chef assistant today, Noah, my little sous chef. Has been fantastic. So give him a thumbs up if you appreciate all of his hard work on today's video also. But I appreciate you guys. Have I forgotten anything, Amy, that I need to cover? Okay. Okay. So